Welcome to Cigars and Hip Hop, a show about hip hop during its golden age era. We'll also be discussing cigars and drinks that we enjoyed during the discussion. And now, let's get on with the show.
All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy CRB. I'm here with my dudes 17, Big Chris,
Hey.
and my man Seismic.
Let's give it up.
Welcome to Cigars and Hip Hop, Season 2, Episode 2.
Yep.
We've been gone for about a month or so. You know, a lot of stuff's happened, so we'll get into that. First off, we had some of the big stuff. You know, we had the memories of Big Pun and Biggie.
Oh, yeah.
The last 2 months. February we lost Big Pun. Then right around March we lost Biggie.
Crazy.
We got all that news going on with, even though they're not hip hop, but we got some news about R. Kelly, Michael Jackson going on. Want to get some takes on that.
I want to piss on you.
And then we got my man X-Rated getting out of jail after 2 decades.
Yeah.
26 long years.
About time. Drop some heat.
So we welcome him back into the fold.
Most definitely.
But yeah, so you know, we got a couple of new albums that dropped. Logic dropped a new album last week. Even my old school, one of my favorites, Wyclef, he dropped a new album. Pretty solid work. But yeah, let's get into some talking. All right, guys. All right, yeah. So we're back with DJ 17 and my man Big Chris. What are you guys smoking on right now?
Who gonna go first? Frank? From 17? 17?
Yeah.
You want me to?
No, Big Chris, why don't you continue about your short story you got there?
Well, a good friend of mine, cat named 17, got me this. It's Arturo Fuente short story. And basically, I guess they call it a short story because it's only about a 4-inch cigar. And the ring gauge, it goes from a 42 to about a 49 at the tip, at the foot of the cigar. Rather short smoke. I guess that's why they call it the short story. But actually a really, really good, smooth cigar from mild to medium. You know, I don't know what possessed you to get this for me because this is one of my favorite cigars and I do appreciate it.
Actually, I've heard you talk about that one before, man. That's why.
That, you know, it was something with these because when they first came out, it was like everybody was just eating them up, and they were hard to find, and you know they were expensive as well for being such a small cigar. But then you know gradually, you know as the rah-rah whatsoever kind of dies down, but still for the Fuente people, the loyals, this is always a go-to. You know,
Gotcha.
me being one of them. I'll always go to this stick. It's really good, and you know, last maybe me 15. No, I say about half an hour, and knock it out in about half an hour. So it's really good for like a lunchtime smoke for me, and it's not so harsh to the point where you gotta smoke it on a full stomach. You can just actually, I would call this a cup of coffee smoke. To tell you the truth, you know, and I would, you know, a cup of coffee, compare it with, as well as even pairing it with a something a little bit stronger, like maybe you want to touch a scotch in the morning, you know. So
How long do you think that you know, like an average person might take to smoke that? I mean, how much time should you allow?
the average person,
Yeah, like, is that something you would consider for lunch?
me,
About an hour?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say about I mean, me honestly, me 30 minutes. Somebody that's really wants to enjoy it and not I say 30 minutes because that's all I get for lunch.
Yeah.
So, you know, a person really could enjoy this for a good 45 minutes to an hour.
Right.
But me, I'd be smoking it fast and just enjoying it and like the last piece of steak.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, really enjoy the stick. And, you know, and it really surprises me because I'm really, really partial toward Nicaraguan sticks. And this is a Dominican stick. And flavorful, very flavorful. Good, solid, all the way through and through. Good stick. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, enjoy, man.
Most definitely.
I'm smoking the my father, and you know, my glasses have been failing me lately. So this one, remind me which one's this one? The
That's their flagship. I forget the exact the name of that stick, but that's the because they got the La Bijou, they got the Judge. That was one of the. I think that's the before either one of the. That's like their flagship stick right there.
Let's see. Yeah, that's my, yeah, I might come up with the name, but anyways, what would you consider this one, a Robusto or looks like that it's, I'm not sure what size it is.
That's a Robusto.
Robusto, huh?
Mhm.
Gotcha.
For Christmas, I'm gonna get you one of those little. Somebody got me. I ain't trying to be funny,
Yeah.
but somebody got me. It's like a little laminated chart, and it shows like the different origins of the leaf. You know, from what different parts of the plant.
Yeah.
And then it talks about the different sizes of the different cigars. It goes through the whole thing. It kind of reminds you like the little things when you used to, I don't know, in elementary school. Remember you used to have the timetables thing and you would match it to get
Oh,
the
right.
answer. So it's kind of like that, and you can kind of almost figure out what kind of stick what's your favorite, and then where the origin is. Because now I'm tripping, being that this is a Dominican stick.
Yeah.
I'm just like wondering what other Dominican cigars out there haven't I tried that that are like
Match to that one.
that match to this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I could have been I may have been missing out.
Exactly, man.
You know?
I'm looking at this one, this one's origin is from Nicaragua also.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a 5.5, 5.25 actually, with a 52 grain gauge. Now this one you would say it's a little longer than an hour, yeah?
About an hour and a half, I'd say. Average smoker about an hour and a half.
And I gotta say, this is one of my favorites, my father. So when I stop by the cigar shop,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna plug the cigar shop here, Cigar Loft in San Mateo.
Oh yeah, I love that spot.
Yeah.
Love it.
So,
Matter of fact, I had a bulldog. They have a dog wash across the street from there. So I would take the bully over there to get washed, and while I'd be getting washed, because it would take me like 2 hours, I'd go over there and have a smoke. I love that
it's a
spot.
great place, man.
Really great. Great service.
Yeah.
Really great service.
Yeah. And I just found out they have you should get on their list, because they have every, I think, Thursday of the month,
Mm-hmm.
they have a social, cigar social.
No shit, really?
Yeah. So next time they send me a list, I'll let you know.
Man, let me know, dude.
Yeah.
That's most definitely. Plus, shit, I get off at 1:30. Give me a chance to come home, take a nap like an old man, and then head on over there. Oh yeah.
I'll let you know, man.
Shit. You see the old man. You see the old man car I bought. Right there.
No, man.
You see my caddy.
Let me see it, man.
Yeah, man. I had to get out the truck. I couldn't
Oh, the
shit.
caddy, that's yours?
Yeah.
Okay, I did see it.
Hey, my big ass trying to get in and out of that damn avalanche.
Right.
Whew,
You
my
need
last-
assistance?
Yeah, man. I already had one of the foot bars on it. I needed a foot bar for the foot bar.
Ah, I need a foot bar for the
I was
foot
coming back
bar.
from LA and I hit a bump, and I was like, my back was killing me. I said, it's time to go. So old Blackie's gone, and now I got Blanca.
Damn.
Okay, you just reminded me of something when you said, people splitting them open.
Right.
I was in a cigar place in Piedmont, in Pleasanton, and this cat came in where I was sitting in the back smoking. He buys a cigar, comes to the back where we are,
Splits it.
and it was about to fire it up, and everybody
Just stops and looks at him.
yeah, like
What you doing?
It ain't this type of
We
party.
should also tell stories like that too. Yeah, like I think that's a perfect thing to put on there to talk about that kind of stuff.
It's all good.
Like when young little wheelies think they these OG bucks.
Mm-hmm. You know, 17 CRB Seismic. I was just tripping because we were talking about the cigar law. One thing I like people to know is there is a certain etiquette when we visit, cigar lounges. First of all, don't go in. This is for the youngsters. For the youngsters that enjoy cannabis. I enjoy cannabis. Seismic?
I'm smoking
Do
cannabis
you
right
enjoy
now.
Cannabis?
Yeah, I was looking.
We all appreciate cannabis. But when you go into a cigar lounge, don't buy a cigar, split it open, fill it with weed, and then think that you can sit there and smoke it in front of cigar smokers. Because that's huge. That's a slap in the face. If you want to buy a cigar and, you know, split it open, that's fine. Do that shit somewhere in the alley or in your car or whatever, like I do. I do it in the car. So don't go into the lounge and do it, because everybody's views of marijuana and cannabis is not the same as yours.
Is there a 99% chance that you might get smacked?
Yeah, smacked, and you know, and it just depends on the area
Dragged
too. They
out.
can, you know, even though it's legal, it's still not legal to do it in public places.
Yeah.
So, you know, in certain areas they may even call the authorities. So better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Buy the shit at the liquor store and do that shit in the car, like I said I do, when the engine's turned off.
Talk about coming into the lounge and smoking a cigar. Question for you: when is it a good time to take off the band? Some people, I've heard some people say that you want to take it off so that you're not showing off what kind of cigar you got.
Yeah.
But like, what's right or what's wrong or what's acceptable?
I mean, honestly, my preference is I smoke all the way up to the band, and then once the band I see it's getting a little either starting to singe a little bit, I take the band off and I'll toss it. The only other time that I'll take the band off is if I am at a lounge and I'm smoking something that's, let's just say, a Cuban. There's a spot that I go to in Southern California where I get my Cubans from. Even though they're legal, people still kind of frown upon them. So he'll say, you know, I'm gonna say to the Cuban, but do me a favor, take the band off so don't nobody know what you're smoking. So in that case, I take the band off as well.
Interesting.
So, but a good reason not to take the band off, because when that cigar heats up, it expands, and that outside wrapper does have a tendency to, you know, can crack if the cigar is not in a good condition, so it can crack. So that band kind of keeps it from over expanding and cracking. So, but again, it's really your preference.
So Chris, what we got rolled up in here?
I have no idea.
So good.
All I know is that's gonna get me lit.
I just got a homeboy be growing, and he was like, every time he just grows something, he just drops some off. So I'm like, if it's free, I ain't tripping.
Hey, you can't argue with free.
Yeah,
Free 95? Free 95.
But I'm going down in 2 weeks. I'm going down to LA. I gotta bring you something back. They got this new little. It's a boutique-ish type brand. It's called LA Kush.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got different ones. I'm gonna bring you something back.
And I was gonna ask you, like, because recently I've been seeing a lot of cannabis companies that they're getting into rolling like cannabis cigars.
Cigars.
Yeah, cigars. I'm gonna get me a few and like, well, see if you guys want to smoke a couple.
You know, one Canagar, I seen the Canagar, it was like $80.
Yeah, but it looks worth it.
It's like a freaking hour and a half smoke, dude.
I don't care. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna sit here till I pass out, just like hold it. You smoking? Oh fuck, my bad.
Oh shit, so I just get that
Or you
house
lit.
party move. Records and skipped.
Yeah. Fucking lit. That's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. I think it's some sativa because I'm pretty like uplifted. You know what I mean? I'm not like it's not body lit or body high. You know, it's just
What is actually smoking?
I don't know.
No, I think it's some sativa, but I don't know what strain. The thing is just because I feel my head like I feel it in my head more than I feel it in my body. Mm-hmm. The difference is that indica is it's a body high, and sativa is a head high. So like, people tend to smoke sativa during the day, and indica to pass out, right? Yeah.
There's also a weed etiquette that I'd like to do. It's called, if somebody gives you some weed for free, you don't ask them, what kind of weed is this? You say thank you. So that's why I don't know what kind of weed that is. Thank you. That's muchas gracias weed.
Yeah. Muchas gracias weed. I like that.
Shit. Start our own strain. Muchas gracias.
I might need to make a track out of that. That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Just a little insight to anyone who's listening out there. Seismic, he's smoking weed, and he's our sound engineer. So no animals were hurt during this recording.
For real. Yeah, for
No
sure.
animals are hurt during this recording.
So I want to talk a little bit about. So we had a couple of hip hop legends that passed over the last couple of months. I actually didn't mention one. I want to re-mention one real quick. I want to say R.I.P. to Five Dog, who we lost in March as well. So we lost two legends in March, different years, but we lost Five Dog and we lost Biggie in March. We lost Big Pun in February. So it's kind of where I want to start it off at. Big Pun. So I was going back and I was listening to a lot of Big Pun this last couple of months and like just really kind of absorbing that first album, Capital Punishment, which I think was kind of one of those albums where like it was an amazing album when it came out, you know, nominated for a Grammy, like, you know, had the backing of, you know, Fat Joe, Terror Squad, you know, Noriega was on that joint. He had a lot of Big Pun had a lot of heavyweights on that album.
Yep.
And I want to ask you guys, I want to get into this kind of conversation right now. For debut albums, how would you rank this album? You know, the one thing that always kind of draws back a little bit is that he had, you know, there were some features on this album that helped drive it. You know, off the top of my head right now, without I'm looking it up right now as well, but like, you know, he had, like I said, Fat Joe, he had Noriega from CNN, I think Remy was on that album. But you know, I want to ask, do you think having, you know, does this album match up to the heavyweights of like some of the first glimpses of artists that we get? You know, obviously, like most people think Nas's Illmatic is probably the greatest hip hop album of all time, and I'm definitely one of those believers. But also, Ready to Die.
Yeah.
You know, didn't have. I think Ready to Die had maybe one feature on it, and I think that was Method Man.
Yeah, I think
he was like picked specifically from Biggie on that. So I want to ask, like, you know, based off a lot of like, you know, great albums, how does Capital Punishment by Big Pun stand up in your eyes? Is it a top 5? Is it a top 10? Top 15? Top 20? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna say what I've been saying for years. Big Pun, to me, and CRB, no offense, I put before Tupac.
Oh.
And you know, some of y'all out there may not like what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
But
it's your opinion.
You know,
respect that.
It's to my fellow Puerto Rican brother, may he rest in peace. But Big Pun to me is like, you know how Tupac is to you. I think Big Pun is one of the most slept on MCs out there.
That might be true. Yeah.
Big Pun's flow, his style, that motherfucker just I wish I could just even talk like he, you know,
He had breath control.
He had hella breath control. For
that,
a dude his size, he had breath control like
that's what I'm saying.
He said something when him and Fat Joe did a song Twins. Yep. He said something about in the middle of Italy. He just kept on going.
Yep.
He just, you know, just rolling that tongue. And maybe it's a Latino thing to where he's able to do it, you know, because I can't roll an R for shit. But he was one of the most slept upon MCs out there. And that album, to me, is one of the greatest albums that has had an impact on my life. I love Big Pun. Yeah. And that album is up there. It's like number 1 in my book.
It is, when I listened to it, there's so many songs on that album that I slept on as like a youngster. Yeah. Like, you naturally, I floated to like, I'm Not a Player, Still Not a Player with featuring Joe.
Yeah.
You know, Twins, because you know you had the Dr. Dre, Snoop, collabo type thing. Yeah, you know the deep cover, but like, and even in the video of Twins, Snoop's in that video, which was big for that time because that's like during the whole hip hop East Coast West Coast beat, and you got Snoop in that, you know, representing. And there's something about
y'all. That's called the free weed cough.
Yep. There's something about there's something about his flow that like just transformed like, you know, so much. And I remember watching Fat Joe doing an interview. He was talking about how he was so in admiration of Puffy finding Biggie, and like he studied that a lot, like how Puffy was pushing Biggie out there, like how he was, you know, song selection for Biggie, like to really get him to that point. And he took a lot of that from Puffy, and I thought that was really cool, like, cause you know, like when Big Pun came on the scene, like I'm not Latino, but he was like a fresher breath air for a lot of like for the music, like his style was so just contagious. Like I loved it, and you know it sucks we only got 2 albums, and then it sucks with the whole Terror Squad beef afterwards. But like the song I've been playing over and over again right now is the one he did with Noriega, "You Came Up."
You came up, yeah.
It's such a dope, like just lyrically and just like from a standpoint of just like imagination, it's just an amazing song. And then, you know, he has, you know, who one of my most underrated MCs out there, Black Thought from The Roots, which is my favorite like hip hop band of all time. Like super lyrical, like he goes toe to toe with Black Thought, and that's just like, you know, the dude was so amazing. Like it's a shame that we only got such a little bit, like we got an amuse bouche of Big Pun.
Crazy, right?
You know?
Yeah.
It's like a small window.
Yeah, it was.
It's a small
Was.
window.
He, you know, we only got literally maybe about what 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because like I think what Capital Punishment came out in '98,
Yeah.
and then by 2001 he passed away.
Actually, 2000.
Was he? Did he pass away in 2000?
How did he pass away?
I mean, he passed away from I think heart attack, right?
Heart attack.
He was
Yeah.
because of the weight.
By the
Yeah.
time he died,
He had lost.
680.
He was losing weight.
Yeah, he even says in the song, "I just lost 100
I just lost
pounds. I'm
100
feeling
pounds,
good." Like he's trying to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
He had a crazy life. I mean, he was homeless
yeah.
for a
I
while.
mean,
You know, I'm gonna be real because it was some bad stuff about Pun. You know, because I can remember I had posted something one day in regards to like some of my favorite rappers. One of them happened to be Mac 10. The other one was Big Pun. And I remember somebody saying, you know, how could you be a fan of this man? He did this, he did that. And, you know, I'm not going to get into what he was accused of,
sure.
you know, but when you're a fan, you really kind of, you're able to separate, you know, real life from their entertainment life. I didn't look at Pun as the man or the father, the husband or anything. I always looked at Pun as the entertainer. You know, so I was able to put a distinction between the two. So Big Pun is just, man, he was great. He was a great entertainer, and it's sad that we had, like you said, we only had a short time. You know, about 4 years of his career, because who knows what he would have been able to do? The collaborations he would have been able to do. You
Definitely.
know?
The tracks.
Yeah, I mean, Fat Joe had him on, just on a
Dude,
rocket.
Terror Squad would be so fucking
I mean,
crazy.
like when you talked about that song with him and Noriega, You Came Up, I could still hear, it's like some horns in that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end, you know, I still hear Big Pun, and he's trying to sound like that. He's like, nah, 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 you know, and it's just, he was a character, you know, I could just, and he was the type of dude that you could picture, be like, damn, I want to hang out with that dude.
Yeah.
Because look, I gotta have hella fun.
I want to smoke with that guy.
Yeah, I want to smoke with that dude. You know, I want to drink with that dude. He just seemed like he was just a character. Even in the Twins video, at the end, when they got like the undercover dude at the end, he's just like, you big dummy. Just, you know, him and Joe just having like a little, what do you call it, Abbott and Costello moment and shit. You know, joking, talking shit. He was funny. He's just like a character, and it's just sad that we just were unable to have a full, long career.
He didn't really get to enjoy the fruits of the labor that he had created. And I think what you kind of see too with like Fat Joe and Pun is like you see that kind of organic relationship. You see a true brother
Mhm.
relationship between the two, and I really appreciate that for sure. So for Capital Punishment, then as an album, well, we know like Big Chris is that's like up there at his top three. You'd say, right? Maybe top one, top two,
Top two.
top two. You know, do you think that having an album with as many features is still like should be considered as a top album? I think it does.
I'll
What,
say
it
this.
features so many other artists?
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of because like for instance, right? I guess I'll break it down. Like I was saying, like with Nas and Biggie, right? For Illmatic and Ready to Die, you really only had. I mean, Nas had no features, right? And then
True.
Biggie had like one that he basically handpicked with Method Man and stuff like that. And it was like, do you think that takes away from like that intro album? Like, do you think that it has that we didn't get the whole like pun? Does that make sense? You
Yeah,
know
it
what
makes
I mean?
sense. No, I think, the way I slept on this album for sure.
Right.
I was a dad at that time. The way I learned about pun was with that song, Not a Play. Right? And so when I heard it, and I grew up, I grew up listening to Puerto Rican salsa. I mean, like real, like 70s, the old stuff, right? So I love the old salsa. And when I heard the Big Pun, style, I thought, damn, this, a real Latino,
Yeah.
to the game, step to the plate. But at the same time, that album, going back to the album, I heard it, and I was like, I think aside from the flow and the skill, the album was real creative.
Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning, it sounds like you're fucking about to watch a movie. The way they bring that, I was ready, for that first song, Beware. I was like, damn, that was like a drop on the song.
It was an impactful. I would say it's a very impactful. Like his setup for that. I think it was strategically done really well. Like the way they built up that album, choosing the songs, like, and then building them in what order they put them in. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty big like knockout punch for like just getting a good taste of like his skill set.
Yeah.
Plus if you look up like a lot of Pun's like freestyles, he's got the one with like I think he got one like Mos Def, DMX, God, I can't remember Cannabis, God, I can't remember the other guys, but yeah, it's I mean his lyrical skill is, in my opinion, is top 5. We didn't get a chance to see one thing, like, and this is kind of something like my brother has. Shout out to Ant Banks. One thing me and my brother always talk about is like when you listen to an MC, what do you see? How do you see the growth in the MC? Right? Like, does that MC stay at that stay at that like that height, or does he fall off at some point? And I don't mean it as a disrespect when I say fall off. I mean, is it like, like we saw, for instance, right, Eminem, he's had some not so good albums.
True.
Maybe because he wasn't in the right mind state when he was recording those albums or whatever, maybe going through personal things or whatever, or not. But, sometimes you have albums that are just not better than your early stuff. And I think that's a lot of case for a lot of people. But unfortunately, we didn't get that from Pun because he only gave us those 2 albums. And then, his second album was released post-mortem, after he had passed away. So we didn't really get a chance to see, does that third album take him to that next step? You know what I mean? But I put that, like, Capital Punishment, I would definitely put that up there with Illmatic. I put it up there with Ready to Die. I put it up there with Big L. I think it is a top 5 hip-hop album, that should get its dues. And I hope more people talk about him because, unfortunately, he wasn't the first Latino MC. You got like, the OG Kid Frost. Respect to Kid Frost.
Shade of Brown.
Light and Shade of Brown. Even Cypress Hill.
Rico Suave.
I mean,
That's
Hey.
crazy, dude.
but if you look at, even if like, you know, we could laugh at Rico Suave too, but we should
Couldn't
do-
get a laugh.
Hey, Rico Suave makes money over that
No,
song.
but you should go back and look at his career as an executive and all that shit that he's done in the music industry. That
Oh,
dude,
he ain't hurting.
no,
No.
He ain't
that
hurting
dude,
at all.
he earned his stripes with it. But like, you know, you had like cats like Cypress Hill,
Yeah.
you know, also. So, but it was nice to see like, I feel like a lot of the Latino MCs came from the West Coast.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Cigars and Hip Hop. We'll see you next time. Peace.